Hi, everyone. This screencast is designed to show you my workflow for the offline mode. If you haven't watched the first video, I highly recommend that you watch it all the way up to the 3 minute and 37-second mark. That'll get you set up to connect your GitHub to your Pybites account, create your repo, clone it onto your computer, download the requirements file, all those good things. It'll get you set up to the point where you need to be right now. Currently, I'm going to show you how to use the correct Python version, which is Python 3.8. And then I'll show you some of the other tools that I use to set up my offline work mode. Just to let you see what this looks like, my current Python version is actually 3.10, which works great. I love it. But the tests and the bytes actually expect Python 3.8. So to get that set up, I use pyenv. This is something that helps you manage your Python version, and you can set it locally for different directories. You can set it globally for your computer. It's really cool, and you don't have to worry about messing with like your system Python and messing things up. If you go to their GitHub page and just follow the directions for installation, I happen to be on Mac OS and I happen to use Homebrew, so I just do brew update, brew install pyenv. If you're working in Windows or if you're working on Linux, all the directions are in there. Make sure you follow along. It's really not that bad. We'll come back to this page in just a second. The next thing that I use is something called pyenv virtual env. As I create the virtual environment, I can set the Python version that I want. So I believe that the virtual env mode on this is only available on Unix systems, so either Linux or Mac OS. You would do it the same way. And then this is the usage for it. You create your pyenv virtual environment, you tell it which Python version you want, and then you give it a name. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you have a compatible Python version. So I'm going to use pyenv install 3.8.13. I press enter. Now I've already done this, so I'm going to click no, but you would just say, so now I have it set. Next step for me after I've installed my virtual env is I'm going to do pyenv virtual env, give it the Python version that I want, which is 3.8.13, and then give it a name. I'm going to match my virtual environment name to my actual directory name, and we should be good to go. You kind of have to do the same thing activating it as you would normally with something like venv in Python. And for that, you would just do pyenv local, and then we'll set it up to be the Pybites demo. So now you can see over here, I've activated my virtual environment. If you don't have the ability to use the Python virtual environment, that is okay. You can still set Python versions for local directories. If you come over here, I'm going to scroll up to usages, and let's see here, usage. You would install the version. We just talked about that. And then you can actually do this right here, pyenv local. And then this automatically selects the current directory that you're in, and it will change the version for that directory. So even if you don't have the virtual environment capacity in Windows, you can still change your Python version using pyenv. Next, we need to install the actual requirements. Clear off the screen here. When I was playing around with this earlier to create the video, it fixed the feed parser issue, but I still had a couple problems with three more libraries. And those libraries were pandas. It was actually a problem with NumPy, but I found if I just do pandas greater than or equal to 1.1.4, it works. Same thing for PyTest. So we replaced that there. And the last one was actually cryptography. So if I replace those equivalents with a lower bound, we should be good. And let's go ahead and try it. Pip install -r requirements, and this should run. So I'll let this run, and then we'll be right back for the video. There we have it. We successfully installed all of the requirements.txt. We have our virtual environment set up, and now we're ready to go get some bytes. What I found is I had a really difficult time trying to download, unzip in the correct position, make sure I unzip it into the right file name and all that stuff. Getting tired of doing that, I created this tool called eatlocal. You can install eatlocal with pipx, which is definitely the recommended way to do this. You can download, unzip, and actually submit in the backend through GitHub, all from the command line. It's really simple. I recommend installing pipx. I'm on Mac OS, so I would do brew install pipx and then pipx ensure path. Linux and Windows, you can both use these tools. And let's go ahead and get eatlocal installed up and running. Here we'll do a pipx install eatlocal. Now that eatlocal installed, we need to set it up. We'll do eatlocal init, and it's going to ask you for your username. So I'll just type that in here. It's going to ask you for your password and confirm, and then enter the path for your local Git repo for Pybites. If you're already in it, like I am for this demo, you can just press enter. Otherwise, you can type in your whichever desired repo you're in. So there it is. It'll ask you to confirm these things. So here's your username. Here is your home directory, yes or no. Now that we have set up elocal here, we need to make sure that we have one more thing installed, and that is Chrome driver and Chrome itself. So if you head back to the eatlocal page and scroll down, let's see here, let's go to setup. And then you do have to make sure that you either download Chrome driver and Chrome manually. If you're on Mac OS like I am, you can just use brew install. You can copy and paste this directly into your terminal. If you do it this way, anytime that you update versions, you will have to run this command one more time. And that's just because Mac OS is a little weird about privacy things, and it's saying, hey, this developer has not been verified. Are you sure that you want to run this? And yes, we do. So copy this, run this in your terminal, and it should work as well. If you run Linux, these directions should work for you. If you run Windows, you can actually install Chrome and Chrome driver using Chocolatey. Chocolatey is like the homebrew, but for Windows. So it manages packages and it's really easy to install things. Make sure that you have Chrome and Chrome driver installed. I already have it on my machine, and I've already run this command as well to remove it from the Apple quarantine. So I'm good to go. What we want to do next is actually go get a Pybite to practice with. We'll just head over to regular bytes, byte one, sum of n numbers, and this is what it looks like. If you're ever unsure of exactly what number you want, you can always check the URL. This number should match what you want to download. So we want to download byte number one. Heading back to the terminal, let's go ahead and try it out. Eat local, download one. So what eatlocal does is it logs into your Pybites account, navigates to the page, downloads the zip file, unzips the zip file in the correct location and with the correct naming conventions. So now you can see I have a cache folder and I actually have byte number one. So let me go ahead and change into that directory. One of my favorite things about eatlocal is you can actually use it to display a byte. So it uses rich in the background and it will display the directions, which should match the website itself. It shows you the current status of the code and it tells you exactly where it's located on your machine. At this point, you would fire up your favorite editor. I like NeoVim, so that's what I'm going to use right here. And we're going to solve this byte, right? So you're working on stuff, and I'll just leave this little comment here. Hi from the command line. All right, so let's pretend that we solved it, clear up some space, and now we can use eatlocal to submit it. So eatlocal submit byte number one. And what this does is all of those extra steps where you used to have to add, commit, push to GitHub, navigate back to your browser, find the byte, click on the download button, all that stuff is done for you. It automatically opens it up and you can see it pulled in my code from GitHub and there's my message, hi from the command line. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Again, we went over how to use pyenv to set up your virtual environments to manage your Python versions. I showed you how to use pipx to install eatlocal, how to get eatlocal up and running, and then use it to download, display, and submit bytes. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to me in the Slack channel, or you can find me on Twitter as well. Thanks for watching.